Chair. Okay,
Okay, it's 6 p.m. on July 24th. I'd like to call this meeting of the Ocean Highway and Port Authority to order. We'll start with the invocation, and I'll give the invocation and then the pledge of allegiance. Dear God, we come before you today to ask for your blessing over our meeting today and to remind ourselves of our oath of office, our service to the community. We ask you to look over the first responders, those in our community that put their life on the line every day to protect us. And we thank you so much for this opportunity to come together, and please look over us and forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And then pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the roll call is now please.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Fullwood,
Present.
Commissioner Nelson,
Here.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Here.
Chair Hill,
Here.
Port Operator and Port Attorney are absent.
All right, so I think Patrick was supposed to be absent. Haven't heard back from Greg, but I don't think anyone is coming from Savage. So, here, if you could kind of walk us through, what we have here. We have the May through 24 actual in the first column, and then we have the budget for 2023, 2024.
Yep.
So that would be the current year, and then the final column is basically what we're approving tonight.
Right.
Right. Take it away.
So obviously we start with the revenues. So the quarterly fee as defined by the contract. So
What, 3% out there? What?
That's what it went up.
Oh, okay.
yeah, sorry. So that's so remember it increases by inflation factor each year. We'll calculate that based on the July Consumer Price Index, which will come in next month in August. The official calculation, and we'll send that to Savage, and then obviously they pay this in quarterly installments. So that's the 318,000. No questions or anything about that.
Could that be more?
Could be.
No, well, no.
I don't think it's gonna be
I mean,
more than that.
so the inflation is 3% right now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Could be
You
three
said
point
when you count
3.1.
Yeah.
But remember, it's a 12-year average, so, sorry, 12-month average, so it's not gonna change that much. Prices are not changing that much in July for it to affect it I expect by anything significant, so it might be slightly different, but like the official number based on the contract is the July Consumer Price Index adjustment, so. And so, the miscellaneous income is the annual fee to the bondholders. So the $1,500 we charge the bondholders annually to manage the conduit bond. Okay. And Roseanne just sent that invoice to them, I think, recently.
Yes.
Why was the actual so high back in?
So that includes the reimbursement we received for our legal fees for whatever Commissioner Hill issued, whatever it was. So that includes that reimbursement's included there. Yeah, it is included in there because the legal fees are included down below. Okay, so yeah, so obviously that's not going to repeat.
Right.
Obviously, so the ARPA funds, as we've talked about, we have one remaining draw. That will probably go in some either late September. Well, we won't receive it till I think after October 1st. So we included in the budget here. So 60,906. That's all the remaining. Remember, that's the final draw of the ARPA funds. That's it. So again, that's the money that we have to spend, and we'll talk about where we're spending that. So obviously the harbor admin bunkering fees, unless we receive any additional information from the port operator. It's the same as this year. We're trending a little bit below that. They're running maybe a month or two behind on paying us. So, but we're obviously May is, there's only 4 months left in the year in May, and we only have, about 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 collected, right? Out of 21,000 that we expect. So again, it looks like that's running a little bit below our expectations. So And so in the final one, the other revenue is, we talked about the, the single audit. So, remember, for any grant reimbursements that we receive or grants that we receive during that are more than $750,000, there are additional audit procedures that have to be done. What we talked about at the last meeting is that would be billed to the operator. So obviously it's included in the audit cost down below, but that would be billed to the operator because it's specific to that project. The project being, I think, the warehouse, was the project that was done this year. That was $1.5 million total project. And so that's going to require, as I said, an additional audit procedures. And there's just a fee, and it's per grant of above $750,000. So we only have one, so it's $1,800 is the expectation. Any questions about the revenue? Okay. So obviously commissioner salaries and payroll taxes are your salaries and payroll taxes, right? So nobody's got any questions about that. Unemployment, same thing. That's just a factor given to us by the state. So conferences and travel for commissioners. This is for commissioner travel to conferences and travel. Obviously, we've left that budget at $1,000. Again, if you have any questions or anything. So the insurance, this is the directors and officers insurance. And then obviously the workers' comp insurance.
Workers' comp covers who?
Everybody,
Everybody?
you guys, yeah. So obviously Rosanna, so obviously the reason for the drop is because we don't have David anymore, right? So it's based on salary levels. So obviously, we expected, we're still waiting to hear what the official number is, and we may actually recover because David left in the middle of the year. We may actually recover some of what we paid last year, but again, to be determined. Okay. And then so for the board attorney, so he asked, so there's $10,000 for management of so this was from Patrick. So he asked for a $10,000 budget for management of the property appraiser case, which I guess is being taken on by the port operator. And so for his time to manage, provide input, whatever. So he's asked for $10,000 for that. And then the rest is the $4,500 per month that we budgeted for legal fees. So for general and administrative legal fees. Questions?
So for the year before, what was the budget for legal?
It was $140,000.
No, our budget for 2022 to 2023.
It was saying $60,000.
It's been 60 for,
Well, so I think 3 or 4 years ago, we changed it from, it used to be, I want to see 40, 42, 45.
45.
And so we upped it to 4,500 per month. From, like I said, I want to say it used to be $2,500 per month plus some contingency for other work, right? So maybe 3 years ago, I want to say we changed it to 60,000, but obviously we haven't stayed within that budget for a while. So okay, any questions? Any other questions? So the rent for the PEC Center, so for the offices here, so there's a slight cost of living increase for that. So
So the 290 is what you expect it to go up to?
Yeah.
290 a month.
yeah. So the Ports Council representative, I didn't put that in there. Obviously that was, who's going to be our Florida Ports Council representative? Are we going to pay them or not? We've had various discussions. Obviously right now, I think it's the commissioner doing that. So I've left that blank for now. Obviously the executive director and all that, all the related expenses are gone. So the port account, again, same budget as last year. This office administrator, again, same budget as last year. So Rosanna wants a new PC, so we've added that in. And I've created it as a separate line item from the regular office admin expenses, just so we can identify that. And then, like I said, the regular office admin, office supplies, et cetera, of 4,000, and then travel for the office admin, and we raised that just a little bit because of the amount of travel, and she's going to some conferences, stuff like that, so we increased that to $300. Okay, no questions?
The fact that we've had you as a counter for so long, we just want
Lots of meetings
to.
for, we got another one tomorrow
Yeah.
for.
The office expenses, go over that again, what was it, 4,000?
So, Rosanna, I mean, obviously, so that's the budget. Obviously, we've spent 5,000 so far this year. You know, that's just for software, right? Some of the software, obviously the equipment, some envelopes, pens, et
Yes,
cetera. So that's just her general budget to manage the office, right? So, but lots of it is taken up by software,
This fiscal year, we bought the microphone,
right?
the
So,
projector,
right. So obviously,
speaker.
those aren't gonna repeat.
No.
So, but that's all in office admin. That's what they're.
So that's all you need,
Hmm?
that's all you need.
Well, that's more than adequate.
The ask for next fiscal year is PC.
Yeah, so remember, so
Laptop.
we're increasing by 2,800, right, for the new PC, right? So,
Right.
and obviously that's another non-recurring expense. So, but that's a one-time expense of 2,800, so. Okay,
And the travel for the office administrator, that's your travel around town and to the meetings.
Only when I have to
Yeah.
leave the office to pick up something, and I went over this year $165 because I had to go to Jacksonville to pick up the microphones and audio visual. And then it broke, and then I had to go back again and return the broken.
so the next section is our membership. So obviously we have the special revenue fee. I haven't heard that it's gonna increase or anything like that, so obviously we left it at 225. We only paid 175 this year, so it changed it, but same thing, TPO membership, as far as I know, there's no increase or any changes to that. The Greater Nassau Chamber of Commerce, we're about to pay that. I think that comes due right here at the end of the year. As far as I know, there's no changes to that, so we're keeping that the same. So then next is the advertisement. So obviously that's for special meetings and things like that, or changes to the meeting schedule that have to be advertised. Obviously we keep a general budget for that. Yeah, so. And then obviously website IT support. This is to, so obviously we've increased that or we've left it the same, but obviously Roxanne wants to, sorry, Rosanna wants to start using more of that budget for help with IT.
Yeah.
Kind of with her computer, obviously gets a new computer, it'll have to be programmed and all that stuff. So obviously that's the web support for that. Awards and presentations is for, you know, plaques and things like that. And then obviously we have a discretionary of $720. So, we just put that in, you know, again, for any kind of miscellaneous spending. So. Okay. So probably so next item is the pilot payment. Okay, so the operator, as far as I understand, the operator has agreed to pay $100,000. The agreement that we reached at the city, again, as I understand it, is we have to pay, once they agree to the settlement agreement, they need $137,000. And so obviously we have $37,000 that comes out of our pocket. As far as I understand, okay. Also, the agreement calls for a $50,000 pilot payment on October 1, 2024. Okay. So, as I understand in my discussions with Patrick, the operator has agreed to fund that by increasing use fees. What?
Tariff.
Tariff. They've agreed to fund that by increasing the tariff. Which means that we will not have, unless you increase the tariff by 50,000 next year, we will not have the money, $50,000 from the way we're planning on collecting that money by October 1st, 2024, right? We will have, I would expect we will change the tariff to be able to collect it, to collect $50,000 over the year, which means by October 1, 2025, we expect to have $50,000, right? But we will not have $50,000 by October 1, 2024. Therefore, this line actually need to be $87,000. Right, unless I have the facts wrong. I've talked to kind of Patrick about this. And again, we're still in discussions with the operator, how this is going to be funded, what tariffs are going to be changed, et cetera, et cetera. And so at this point, we have to assume that even if we get this funded back by the operator somehow, or they agree to pay for it at some point in the future, October 1st is essentially 2.5 months away. And that money needs to be paid on that date. And therefore that money is going to come out of our pocket again, whether we get it reimbursed or not, again, by the operator, which is still under discussion. So at this point, again, my proposal is that we put $87,000 into the budget for the pilot payments that are due, both, like I said, the $37,000, which is the amount that's been agreed to for the historical, plus the October 1, 2024 payment.
And that was gonna be my question, to you, Pierre, was because again, seeing the first draft at 37,000, but knowing that it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more, so you had 87.
Yes. So yeah, we'll talk about but yeah, like I said, right now, unless someone has any better information, that will change to $87,000.
Just my understanding was that they would be taking care of it, but we'll see. It's still.
Right, exactly. So,
I have,
Yeah.
I have confidence in talking with them and talking with Patrick. They're gonna pick that up. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But we still have the budget.
Like I said, what's been agreed to, or what the way we're going to fund it, if we follow through on the way this is going to be funded. And they, as I said, as I understand from Patrick, they've agreed to pay the $100,000 and they've agreed to change the tariff. That leaves us with this gap that if they agree to fund it in the future, that's fine. But at this point, we're just going to assume that.
Well, I don't think they agreed to pay the $100,000. They had an obligation to pay the $100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. That's a receivable that's due, that's been due, that's on our books. And they should have a payable on their books that they owe us the $100,000. Yeah. Okay. So the CSX right away fee obviously is payable, and actually that bill just came in. Roxanne, I don't know if you saw the email I just sent you.
Yes.
I don't know why they sent it to me, but yeah, we just got that bill today. So for the CSX right away. And so the next is the insurance. So, and again, that package is paid at the end of the year here. So before we start the new year. So obviously, again, I think we're waiting for final pricing on that, Roxanne. Yeah.
I'm
So,
sorry.
On the insurance, on the property insurance and stuff like that. Sorry. 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 Yeah.
Quit listening to that music.
I don't want to hear that
Okay.
anymore.
Tune playing in my head. Sorry.
Good.
But yeah, so obviously, again, that's payable at the end of the year. We don't have any better information at this point that
Right.
it's going to increase or decrease, obviously. And I think the property insurance is negotiated by the operator, if I remember correctly, as part of a package for their total insurance, because they have insurance that they provide. And so again, I haven't heard anything about, but we'll be checking on that before we get to September. Remember, so although we're kind of going through the budget tonight, the final budget isn't approved until the September meeting, but right before October 1st. So as we get new information on this, we may increase or decrease these amounts. So, okay. So obviously the audit fee is there's a slight increase plus the special audit fee, because we did not have a special audit in 2020, in this current year. And so again, we will have for next year. So we've included that in. The Florida Ports Council dues, again, I have no information that they're going to change anything. And the Nassau Economic Development Board. So that's the budget. So obviously with the addition of would make that a negative 51,000. As I've talked about before, we do currently have, because our current balance is 161,000. Now I've kind of started the cash flow forecast because, you know, as we move forward in time, cash will become more critical as we don't have our Uncle Sam to provide us with relief funds, which they have been doing, right? With the ARPA grant has provided us with relief funds. Like I said, I anticipate that we'll move into October with about $160,000 in carryover funds, right? And so, but remember, this budget says we have to spend $51,000 of that. The fund is current budget the way it's right now, right? With the $50,000 additional pilot payment on October 1st. That's the budget, unless somebody has.
Year, when we first looking at $1,000, that's not bad. And 50 got up in the air, they go forward, we'll figure that out.
And like I said, if the operator pays for it, obviously we'll get that back, but it's still cash flow issue. You know, will they give it to us by October 1st?
But we're coming down to where we're $1,000 short, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yep.
But the 50,000, so that pertains to the year that ends October.
So the final payment,
Starts.
as I understand, is due essentially on October 1st.
So
of
the
2024.
first,
So
so
it
it'll be a
belongs to the
new
budget
year.
of next year, right? Officially, it's due October 1. So it belongs in the 2020, this budget, 24-25 budget.
just like
So-
2019 and 20, the payments that were, the 2019 and 2020 payments that were supposedly in escrow, those would have related to 2018 and 2019
Yeah.
years.
Yes, exactly. Because usually we're paying 1 year behind,
Right.
right? So the actual calendar year volumes, and then the payment was due on October for each year on October 1st. So yes.
So the 3 years of 21, 22, 23 are zeroing out for 37 total, essentially.
Yeah.
And then 24 is 50. I just have to sort of put it in my mind for each year. Okay, well, we don't have someone from the operator to talk about,
Right, and so like I said, that's why right now we have to assume that, again, whether we get that money back at some point in the future, we have to assume that from a cash flow perspective, we're gonna have to put that money out, right? And then, yes, hopefully we'll cover it. Obviously, we may change the tariff to include, to have them generate more than $50,000, whatever the decision is. Again, but you know, obviously, remember the tariff has to be presented, adopted, and then put in place, and then the money collected, right? And so that's gonna happen over, so by the time we get that done, you're talking about, I expect, you know, October meeting or something like that at the earliest for the new tariffs. And then obviously a year to collect money, so.
so where are we gonna get the money?
Well, so we have,
So we
again,
have the money.
we have the ARPA money.
Yeah.
Right, so we have we're carrying forward, so we expect to,
Even
so right now, my forecast is we will enter 2024, 25, right, October 1, we will have $160,000 of carry forward funds.
So you have
Right.
60, but that's for the remaining part of the year.
The 60 ARPA money is the new money that's not in our bank account currently, right? So versus the, when I say the $116,000, I'm talking about the money that's sitting in our bank today. Right? So actually we have, at the end of the month, if you look, remember, that's why we give you this. So we had $161,000 at the end of June sitting in our operating account. Okay, and that will, by the time we get to October 1st, that'll be my estimate based on what we have to pay and stuff like that, 116,000, which gives us the ability to pay to fund a budget that has a $51,000 deficit, right? So.
Awesome.
But as the balances get lower, obviously we have to be careful about cash flow and making sure we have money to pay, you know, the salaries each month and the audit fees when they come due and stuff like that. So again, I've started to calendarize a cash flow forecast because, like I said, it will become that critical as we use this money. The less money we have carried forward, the tougher we should pay people better. Because cash flow will become more niche, right? We have to have $30,000 in February and April to pay the auditor, right? So the total bill for the auditor is $33,000. That money has to be there. That's when those bills are going to come due, right? The auditor is probably going to bill us in January, February, and then March, April for the second 2 installments, right? Same thing, the insurance when it comes due, the Ports Council, $15,500, that's a lump sum payment. So those funds have to be there and so that means that, again, it's not spread out equally across the year. There are some months where we have more cash needs than others.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to total out with those, basically the statement of cash flows. Just to see, because we're using that non-recurring $60,000 for the coming year. That's not gonna be there for the following year.
Right.
And then we're not gonna we don't know if we'll have a cash carry forward balance that's that high.
Right.
For the coming year.
Right. Now, I will say, obviously, next year, because this should be year 6 of the contract. So year 7
7 starts in October.
starts. Now they're small.
Yeah,
I think, I have to go back and look at the contract to make sure, but starts the $1.50 per ton, right? So remember that there was, for the first 6 years, those were 0 or not paid essentially, and then they kick in on year 7. So $1.50 per ton that comes through the port, and that's increased by inflation each year, same as the other ones. And so that will generate some funds. Now, those funds are committed, some of those are committed to go to the maintenance account, so to be used for port maintenance, but some of them come to our account to be used for whatever purpose we want. But again, it's not going to be $100,000. I think it'd be, $20,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. So it also depends on the volume of the port.
and then when does it go up again?
Well, it changes every year by inflation and the percentage factor changes. So as we go through the years, the amount that we're allowed to take versus the amount that's going to the maintenance account
What I mean
changes.
is it goes up every year.
The $1.50 goes up by inflation. No, it doesn't. The $1.50 per ton, right? So the next year will be $1.50 plus 3%, right? So it'll be $1.
Or it could be 4%.
Whatever, 54, or whatever that math is. Right. So $1.54 per ton, right? But over time, obviously because that was one of the big knocks on the previous contract, is that the $1.50 per ton stayed the same for over 30 years, right? The previous contract did not include inflation factors for any of the numbers. And so the $1.50 per ton stayed $1.50 per ton. So obviously that was one of the improvements when the new contract came out, to include that inflation factor in the tonnage fee.
So if you take out from the $404,000 that we have in our budget here, if you take out the non-recurring, you have 343. that's like really our diet. Like, if we were gonna be on a healthy diet, that would be what we would be consuming.
Right. And we're not that far off, right? So obviously the fixed quarter, and that's why I said, you have plenty of money to operate normal operations, what I'll call the normal operations, to do the port or the Ocean Island Port Authority, right? The normal stuff. That 318,000, we're just gonna go up by another 3% at least next year, or some inflation factor, plus obviously the harbor and admin fees, which means that you have your fixed fees in theory,
Right.
you know, the salaries, the et cetera, of operating the port covered. It's all these extras that have during, you know, the master plan, obviously and we knew that, David Coffey, you know, David, the board, executive director, was funded by ARPA fees. Enough, you know, we did not have the fixed cost to cover that salary. That's part of, you know, that he had to find a way to cover his salary.
So for the attorney expenses, we have budgeted 100 grand less than what we've used for the past year. Of that 160,000, do you know how much is subject to reimbursement? Because I know we've asked for reimbursement for
Very
some of
small
it.
amount, right? How much did you send to Patrick? The invoices that have been paid so far on the
So,
board,
Property
property
appraiser.
appraiser case? I mean, I thought it was a pretty small amount. I
yeah,
mean, we're talking maybe $20,000.
Yeah.
I mean, depends how you
Not
define
even.
small. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge amount.
No.
It's not gonna be half of that, right? And managing, I'll just say, you know, managing legal fees will be, you know, obviously lots of, you know, if some of the cases are falling by the wayside, but it will be a key issue because, as I said, the ARPA funds have allowed us to fund our legal expenses. But, you know, and if those start to go up or go out, you know, we're gonna have to find, we don't have the money to fund those for too much longer. And, you know, I promise you, I'll tell you, we're out of money, you know, when we get there, you know, and so,
Well, the Pollock case being settled, that should take care of some of those legal fees next year.
right, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and same thing, obviously, the property appraiser's case is being taken over by the board operator, so that should, again, so those should be, you know, and there was a few other cases in there, so again, hopefully we've kind of peaked on all that and all that's behind us, but yeah, it's just, you know,
That catch up.
well, like I said, we've gotten used to, like I said, the last few years of, you know, it really, the amount was not an issue, right? We had the funds to do it. So,
That's the outcome.
right. And so, but now as we move forward, we don't have, you know, we don't have those unlimited pockets anymore. And, so, yeah, I'll just point it out to you when we get there. Right?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson, you always say that our budget makes no sense. You still think that?
Glad I didn't have to work with anything like this, working in a marine terminal. There might have been some people sailing off into the river.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, not much we can do about it.
You can't make something out of nothing.
Yeah. But hope we can negotiate with the operator, to get us more money for it somehow.
Pretty receptive.
Yeah, I think once they see this budget, they'll be willing to help us out some. I hope.
So Rosanna, are all of your IT expenses in here?
yes.
Technology expenses in the far right column?
So I gave the board three options for the laptop. Number one is for just to implement a new internal drive with 2 terabytes. And that's, this is his quote for that. That's labor and material. And use the old computer. He will just put in the drive and use but he said, the USB port, he cannot, guarantee that it will go on forever. And this computer is for, personal use. It's not business grade, he said, and I need a business grade, laptop. So the next option is to, buy a refurbish. And these are the parameters. This is a business grade, and this is through Tech Amelia. Pierre uses Tech Amelia, and I've used them before, and Commissioner Nelson, you've used them before, so
He's a good guy.
they are reliable. Even with the refurbish, computer, I will still need to buy a new internal, drive, because I need 2 terabytes instead of just the 1. And then for a new laptop, he gave me all of these parameters to look for. And I've seen, and Vice Chair Taylor, you're going to give me, a cost estimate for new laptop.
So, well, and that's where I didn't realize it was a laptop that you were looking at, which I should have known, but, we're getting was a desktop,
Oh,
where I work, and so that's why it was that day when I saw the budget come out, and I just now got, put on this, but, there's a difference there.
yeah. So, a new laptop will cost about 2,500. I saw one when I started researching. I saw, a sale July 4th, but now it's over. So anyways, even with the new laptop, I still need the 2 terabyte internal drive. Because I do all my work on the computer. Files are filed in the computer. So I will do what the board decides. I'll make it work.
What do we have budgeted for that?
Mhm.
What was it?
28.
85.
2885.
So essentially for the option in the budget is for a new laptop.
Right.
Business.
You went for the
Capable.
higher
Capable
cost
laptop.
estimate.
And the software is also included in that price, correct?
Correct.
So the 385 for the new drive. And what was it for the refurbished?
It is $12.99 plus tax, but we are tax exempt, so I'm going to talk to them about our tax exempt. Plus the 385 on that refurbish.
So it's almost $1,500.
$1,000 less.
Well. 16. 17.
Place we could save money. So we got the new one.
Say the refurbished will have a older chip. Right, so, obviously, to get it till it'll last a few less years than a new one, right? Because
Yeah,
obviously a new one will have the newer chip, will have the newer technology.
Yeah.
Which will make sure, which will make it last 5 to 7 years instead of a refurbished one, 3 to 5 years before you need a new one, right?
So
So
3 to 5 years, we might have more money.
I'm just
The
laying out the
other one's only
options.
5 to 7 years.
What
I
is,
don't know.
what is this warranty on the used one? Did you tell you that?
the used one is 2 years, yeah.
2-year warranty.
I mean, how old is
2-year
that
one.
machine? How old is that one?
This one is 2018. And he
Right,
said,
so-
like he said, it's a personal computer, not a
Right.
business grade.
Yeah, I would think 5 to 7 years for even for a new laptop, I mean,
Mm.
maybe 8. Maybe. Again, because of the technology, because of the speed, the
Yeah.
chips, et cetera, I mean, just.
Well, due to our budget, I think the refurbished would be good for now, and maybe like I said, in the future, we'll have more money to buy something better if we need it. My opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more in favor of going with the new equipment if we can, I mean, they're giving us a price on one piece of equipment.
Obviously,
So-
I will look for a sale.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe look
Mhm.
to see if there's any other,
I mean, Labor Day is coming up, so.
yeah, there might be a sale or, if you can find sometimes a later generation when they release the next generation, you
Right,
can buy the last year's model, but it's still new.
right.
That's what I would suggest. I
And
just
again,
wouldn't-
we still have to add that internal drive, even though it's new, because I could only find 1 TB for the new computers. If we want a new computer with 2 TB, it starts at 4,500 and
Wow.
up. Yeah, business grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and you're also running a laptop. Or she's running the website, so this system is really everything that we're putting our records, I mean, the emails, everything is being run here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
And
only
when you
finishing
say
equipment.
refurbishment, doesn't mean they go in there and replace everything.
No.
What they're doing is they're looking for wear items. They'll take them out, but everything else stays.
Yeah, I just
So-
tech, I would give her new.
Well, and refurbished usually means it's coming off lease. Right, so it was leased by some entity when it was new. They used it for 2 years. And then it's refurbished, and that's why I said they tend to last. It's slightly older technology, so it's a year or two older than the current, and so and obviously it's gonna, it's not gonna last as long. And need replacement.
Well, I say keep looking till we get ready to approve the budget, and we'll make a decision.
What about Steve Mania? Can he use his contacts for us to see if he can get a better?
And I will ask him,
I would suggest.
this refurbished one is from them. They will build it
Yeah,
to our spec.
I'm sure he's got contacts because we bought computers from him
Mhm.
and had him do work to them. So I would say ask him
Okay,
and see where we can get him to help us out.
okay.
So, Roseanne, a question though, so do we have anything in the cloud or is it just?
Yes, we
so-
do.
Okay,
My
Um,
Dropbox is in the cloud.
okay, is there enough space there? Should we expand that space? Will that save on the cost of, instead of going with
Um,
2 terabytes?
For
go
storage.
just do one, yeah, for
Right,
storage,
right.
all that.
And that's a good question. I will ask Tech Amelia if they could clean up the 1 TB that's in here and perhaps back it up to an
Cloud.
external drive.
Well, I also don't want you to lose, I mean, I don't know what you have on there, but as far as records and things like that,
Yeah.
your computer goes down.
Right.
And, so I think, I mean, it is important regardless that we have everything we can on the cloud.
Yes.
Versus just relying on the machine.
We do have one drive that's backed up in the cloud, and then I bought an external hard drive that I back up every Friday. So it's like 2 backups.
You've
What
done a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, it used to be that every board member received a printed out binder at the meeting. Do you remember those? And, yep. And had to come and pick it up.
Yeah,
And then we had tablets issued to us. I think some people had tablets issued to them. I never had a tablet. I always had my own.
yeah.
Where are those tablets?
I have one of them, and that's from David.
That's it right there. That's one of them.
And then Commissioner Cole has one.
I still
Vice
have
Chair,
one at
you
home. I
still
don't
have
use it.
yours?
Yeah,
And Commissioner Nelson, you,
No, I want to call him.
So those tablets, could we maybe sell them? Could we declare them surplus and sell them? Could we talk to Tech Amelia about selling them?
Yeah, with that, Steve would be my go-to person.
Sure, let's try
Yeah,
to
you
sell
might
them.
wanna
Maybe
take
they will
those
me
and-
find the money that you need to get the new one.
Yeah,
5% going.
I think.
yeah, that would work. He could probably use them.
Especially if they're just sitting around. not being
Yeah.
used.
So everybody
Turn in your tablets if you don't want them.
Tablet.
Wipe them clean.
They will. They'll do that for you.
Yes, and I will ask Tech Amelia and report back.
Do you guys have any coupons in your pockets?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions about the budget? Okay. All right, well. It's a good workshop. Never a fun discussion, but important. It's important for us to look ahead and tighten our belts if we need to. All right, anything else for the good of the order? This meeting is adjourned, 6:45.